So this is the my critique for my session with my client, the role play. So hold on, I got some notes. So, my critique for myself is some of the things that are just outside of what the information. Um, so one of my things was I felt like I had my hands in my face a lot, and I tend to do that. Um, so I guess one thing is trying to control the hands a little bit, even though I do. It's one of my things where I talk with my hands. I can have it less in my face, and I feel like in a good amount of spots, it was kind of like in my face. Another thing, better posture with it. I feel like I was like, I just felt like in some cases, had like an awkward position. Another thing is I fidgeted a little too much. So that could cause like distraction to the client thinking process because they're, looking at me doing who knows what. And one of the things I noticed when I was watching the video is I kept moving my chair back and forth a lot. So I think one thing is just to be more mindful of what I'm doing while conducting a session. And another thing is with my transitions going from talking to excuse me, one thing to the next. In some cases I felt like it was a little robotic, so making sure I have more of a flow going through things. Um and I feel like a lot of that too just kind of has to do with um confidence and just like not second guessing myself because I tend to do that a lot with certain things. And I know over time, comfortability is that word will come with it the more I do it. Um my introduction I felt like was okay. It could have been a little bit stronger in the sense of talking with a client, just making it very light and then slowly moving into the topic of conversation for the session. I felt like I just did it like very lightly and then was just like, boom, we're going to talk about all this stuff right off the bat. I feel like I did a pretty decent job with letting the client kind of have a minute or seconds when they needed to. One thing that I could fix with that though is I think I had a hard time kind of like where I was looking. And think in like one or two spots, it might have been more, I was like looking into the camera. So that could be just a little awkward. But then I also don't want to be like, you know, seem like I'm not there to pay attention to them, even though it's like a moment of like silence for them. Um, so I guess just a better way to present myself a little bit. um, Another thing too, which I feel like I definitely should have done a little bit more is when I was talking about the reinforcing of the goals and them becoming independent for making that process for themselves and how I was like focused on three things. I could have, when it came to the building a realistic maintenance plan for setting boundaries, I could have like brought up an example to kind of explain it a little bit more so they understood kind of what that's going to be. So, could have done that. Same with the identifying future triggers and then how to respond to them. We could have just done like a little mock, like what could have been a potential trigger that they think could have possibly happened, or they could just name out a trigger and then we can work on like how would we respond to that just as like a example so they could understand what that would look like. um and then ensuring you feel confident continuing to work on your own and kind of just maybe touching on that a little bit instead of just naming them out and just like boom, done. So I definitely could have done better going in depth with that. Another thing I noticed too was at the very end, I said you're welcome, but they didn't say thank you. So that was just like a weird little end of it. Um, so I could have ended it a little differently than saying you're welcome over no one saying thank you. So I just felt that was like an awkward little moment. And definitely could have done better with that. And I just feel like a lot of it too revolves around having the confidence and just doing it. And I know over time the practicing it you know get much better. I definitely see like my strong points and then also my points where I'm like, okay, I need to do a little better. And I had notes off to the side. So just doing better with like summarizing and being able to do it independently. And again, being more confident to just like, you got this, let's go with it. Um excuse me. So I think that was one of the things as well. And just circling back to like kind of robotic responses, I feel like some transitions from questions could have been a little bit better. Um, and as well as switching up my, like when they would say something, I feel like I could have had like better responses. So instead of being like, that's good, yeah, that's normal, or what was the other one? Okay, awesome. And just like short, I felt like they were too short and kind of cut off. So maybe it could make the client feel like, oh, they're just like pacifying me almost and like cut off and we're just moving on really quickly. They don't really care. So definitely could work on those transitions and make sure I don't make the client feel any type of way when in reality that wasn't what I was trying to do. But I can see where some of the transitions could make the client feel that way. So definitely need to do better with that. um, and yeah, I think that let's just look at my other notes here. Um, and I think with some of it too, I kind of like um what how to say it, like kind of jumped over or jarbled my wording a little bit. I noticed like two or three spots where it was just like, what were you trying to say, lady? Um, to myself. And so I again just having like a better transition of everything and doing it a lot better as well. Um excuse me. And yeah, I mean, I feel like overall it wasn't horrible. Definitely have some points to do better at. I feel like I'm slowly getting more and more comfortable doing like the whole Zoom thing. Um I think really for me, it's just going to come down to having that independent, just saying stuff and not having to like rely on notes or feeling like self doubt with it. So then you're like, oh, I get frazzled. Um, so I think in some of the aspects of the session, I was a little frazzled. Um, so was another thing. Um, I guess like we could work on facial expressions a little bit as well. Would probably be good. Um, but yeah, I really liked that experience. It was really fun to do. Also before starting it, I made sure like to run it over with the person who played my client and so we could like look back, critique, try to be, what we can and what works better and stuff like that. So I think that helped me a lot and helped me not have as many mistakes. It lessened my mistakes. I mean, I still have mistakes, but like I think it helped better and lessen the amount of mistakes I had in the session. So I think that was really good. So overall, definitely know what I need to work on, and yeah, so.